Hello YouTube and welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be covering Genshin Impact version 3.8 phase 1 test run. So in this video, I'm going to do the test runs for Eula and also for Klee. I'm not going to do the test runs for the 4 stars in this video, but I will give you a quick rundown of the 4 stars, what they need, and what I recommend. For Razor, I think Razor is a really good option for a physical team early. It doesn't need much that's hard to fix, which is good. Um, he requires the electro hypostasis to ascend. The gems that the amethyst that he needs also drops from the electro hypostasis. I consider the electro hypostasis boss in the game. So I would say go for. I would say if you're looking for a physical DPS that you and you're early on in the game, Razor is a choice. His talent requirements again, everything is in Mondstadt. Resistance books you can find Tuesday and Friday. You can find the Devalin's Claw, a weekly Devalin boss, and you get that unlocked by completing the prologue. As far as his recommended weapon, I like the Blackcliff weapon or the Serpent Spine. Those will help his crit stats. Go for either one if you want. Now, know that if you to go for the Blackcliff weapon, you do have to save up your star glitter, and you can't just simply reinvest the star glitter into more wishes if you want to go for Blackcliff. So, the Serpent Spine is available through the Battle Path. So, if you're free to play, just pretend I didn't say anything about Serpent. If neither of those two claymores are options for you and you still want to build Razor, Prototype Archaic is probably still going to do you a lot of good. I'd go for one of those three. As far as the recommended artifacts, my recommendation is going to be Gladiator Finale, mostly because I'm making the recommendation for Razor to players who are early on in the game. Maybe chapter one, maybe just starting chapter two. Um, so everything with Razor you can get in Mondstadt. Gladiator Finale is no exception. Gladiator Finale is dropped by can be dropped by almost any boss in the game, including the weekly bosses. You can also strong box it, so you should be able to build a physical DPS Gladiator Finale set for Razor. Very little issue. So, so that would be my summary for Razor. Mika is a little bit of a difficult one. Would say that Mika is kind of a physical support, maybe cryo support, but more so physical. Um, Now, the best reason to build Mika is if you have a physical DPS built as well. So someone like Eula would obviously fit that bill. There's a couple other ones that would. Well, now his ascension is a little difficult because he needs the Waynute in order to ascend. But the Waynute is going to drop emeralds and he jade. So you're either going to have to cash in on the shop to get the best of Azoth to convert your emeralds to jade, or you will just need to go and also defeat the cryo boss, uh, to which you might as well just go for the cryo Regis Fine. Not that particular. Will drop jade. Um, Now, the Waynute, you can find that in the desert area of Sumeria. So, if you are patiently unlocking the map as you go along, know that you won't actually encounter where the Waynute is until you start doing the world quests. So, but in general, you might spot it by Act 4 of chapter 3 if you're going simply um, by the Archon quests. Um, his talent requirements required a ballad book, which is in Mondstadt, and the Mirror of Mushin. Mirror of Mushin, you will not be able to get that until you have completed Archon Quest Chapter 3, Act 5, which is near the end of Sumeru. Um, Once you've completed that act, then the weekly boss that drops the Mirror of Mushin will be available. Until then, you'll only be able to build up his talents up to 6, which if you're still not complete through chapter 3 should still be okay. Um, Overall, I think that most people are saying that the Favonius Lance is his best weapon. I would add prototype Star Glitter into the mix as well. Um, Between the two, Favonius Lance will require you to build artifacts with crit rate so that it will actually so that the passive will actually do something. If you don't build crit rate, then the prototype Star Glitter will be better than the Favonius in my opinion. And you can just simply build the prototype Star Glitter using the I think you get pretty early. The black tassel is also worth consideration because it will boost his hit points and make him a better healer. I I'm not sure that healing is his best. That boosting his healing is best for him, but just know that it's an option if you'd rather have HP than elect energy. As far as his recommended artifacts, I would go with either Noblesse or Tenacity. If you know what team he's going to be on, if you know that his team already has a Noblesse user, then go for Tenacity. If you know that the team already has a Noblesse user and a Tenacity user, then you've got some. You may have to reorder something because I think he's better. He's best at one of those two. I would not go with the healing set for me, and I don't think he necessarily requires um, the emblem of severed fate to for the energy recharge. If you need energy recharge, make sure that you get it through his sands, and you should. And now for Thoma. I kind of debated whether to put Mika or Thoma second because their availability is it kind of depends on how you want to determine who is available earlier than the other. So Thoma requires a pyrohypostasis in order to ascend, and you will not have access to the pyrohypostasis until you get rolling in Inuzuma's arc chapter, which is chapter 2. Until you do that, there's no way to unlock anything in so, and that includes if you tried to use Kaya's ice bridge. Um, the gem is what drops from the power hypostasis, so that shouldn't be a problem. What might be a little bit of a problem is his additional materials. The fluorescent fungus is only found in one island. I have to remind me exactly what it is because I always call it something different. It's Surumi Island. You'll find it south of all the other islands. Um, Again, don't ice bridge your way to Surumi Island. Just wait for the world quest that directs you to go there, and you'll just simply direct it to Wave Rider there, and that is a whole lot easier than saying that I did the ice bridge thing. So um, that's where you can find the fluorescent fungus. Um, Transience is a book in Azuma, but not to. But I don't think that domain is particularly hard to do. The Hellfire Butterfly is a is a weekly boss drop that is dropped by the weekly boss that you get for completing chapter 2. I don't think you have to. I think it's one less chapter than the final one, but um, you'll know when you finish that chapter. You'll um, but it's not a particularly hard um, weekly boss. So, it's probably right in the middle. Not as easy as Dvalin, but easier than the one that drops Mirror of Mushi. So, um, for his recommended weapons, I haven't built him yet, but I'm building him with Dragon's Bane. Um, a Katane Cross Spear is the other one that I hear recommended. So I'll let you kind of decide between the two. For Thoma, I kind of think he's a good. I was looking for a good version trigger, and Thoma seems to be the one. After I've tried to fit that square peg in a round hole into like three different characters so far, Thoma seems to be the one that you get IEM on and be able to trigger version. And for that reason, I recommend Flower of Paradise Lost has his artifact set. That will probably be more valuable than the Crimson Witch. So, all right. Well, now let's actually play. Let's actually play the test run. So I'm going to start off with Eula's test. So let's do it. Let's do a quick rundown of her talents. We're going to skip the normal one. The normal one is always the same. Um, so her skill, there's a difference between pressing the skill and holding the skill. Pressing the skill slashes swiftly, deals crowd damage, and creates a stack of Grimheart, which you can have 2 times. And when you hold the skill down, she consumes all of the stacks of Grimheart, lashes forward, does daily crowd damage, and the Grimheart stacks uh, make the opponents lose physical resistance and cryo resistance. So as you see, doing the press has a cooldown of 4 seconds, and the hold has a cooldown of 10 seconds. So you'll be able to do the skill, wait 4 seconds, do the skill again, wait another 4 seconds, and then go for the full skill. At least that's what I remember. That's what I see. It has been a while since I've done her so glacial illumination. Brand creates a lightfall sword that does crowd damage. Just know that once she leaves the field, so does the light. So generally, you're going to want to have her on the field quite a bit, and but even though she does a lot of crowd damage, we normally consider her more valuable as a physical DPS. Let's see how they built. Well, they actually built her with crit damage. Almost never do. Build her with cryo. They gave her lots of physical damage. I imagine a lot of that is from the weapon. Song of Broken Pines is probably her best. I'll kind of go what I recommend just a little bit, but that's her signature weapon, and it's on the banner. They went with 4-piece Pale Flame, which is what I would recommend as well. And the rest of her test run is going to be, she's actually kind of got a triple cryo with Mika and Diona and Fischl for Electro. Detail. All right, well, let's just start off with some. So yeah, this is about what I would have expected. A lot of physical damage on. So let's do a tap right there. See that we got some people affected by cryo now. I was a little bit too far away.
Dodge this.
Beg for mercy.
Go for one more.
You're open.
And now let's do the full. Okay, that worked out.
You're open.
Now these are kind of weak enemies, so I'm kind of going trying to gauge what I think about the elemental skill based on just how easy it is to kind of group them.
Eye for an eye.
That seems to be working.
New job. A new job.
Okay, so we're starting to get starting to change.
You're open.
Okay,
Shut up. Vengeance will be mine.
let's just go ahead. I'm just
Let us cross swords.
before I end up.
Precision strike. Let's keep going. Hammer.
Okay, so so Mika did a decent amount of healing. Kind of got her in a lot of trouble with by kind of messing around.
You're open.
Flood of frost.
Jab and cross. You're open. Should replace my hammer.
Okay,
You're open.
one left. Before we go, I'm just curious. What did they have for me? Bonus lands, 2-piece tenacity, 2-piece imp. What's his total? Yar. Okay, pretty high. Okay, that wouldn't be the worst idea. 2-piece tenacity, 2-piece emblem. You would never be able to get value out of his out of the 4-piece emblem of severed. That's kind of where I was kind of wondering. But anyway, let's just do a quick overview of what Eula requires. Eula will require you to defeat the cryohypostasis, which is in Dragon Spine. So if you hate everything and all things Dragon Spine, you might have to put that hate aside to build Eula. Fortunately, the cryohypostasis will also give you all of that jade that you need to get her all the way up to whatever you level her up to. Probably. Um, the rest of it is pretty easy stuff. Most of it is available in Mondstadt's The Dragon's Lord Crown. You'll have to complete Leeway, and you'll also have to complete a story quest for Zhang Li in order to unlock the weekly boss that drops the dragons. Obviously, her best weapon is going to be the Song of Broken Pines. But if you can't get that one, I recommend you just go for anything that gives you a strong attack boost. You'll probably be just fine. I do not recommend going for crit damage weapons for Eula, because if you decide to go for Song of Broken Pines later, that means you'll have to redo this. So, as far as said artifacts, and remember, these recommendations can work for Razor as well. You could go for the 4-piece Pale Flame. For that one, you'll just need to make sure that your elemental skill is hitting enemies frequently enough so that you can get that buff up. It's not going to be the easiest 4-piece Pale Flame in the world to accomplish. So if you find that, so I would recommend it, go for a 2-piece Pale Flame and a 2-piece Bloodstained Chivalry to get a really big boost in physical damage. And then if you find that you are doing well enough with your attacks during your elemental skill, then you can go for 4-piece. Anyway, Anyway, we're going to do a Klee's test run now. Uh, so Klee does a lot of things that Catalyst users normally do with their normal attack. Um, Jumpy Dumpty, when thrown, Jumpy Dumpty bounces 3 times, igniting and dealing AoE pyro damage with every bounce. On the third bounce, the bomb splits into many mines. Mines explode on contact with opponents on or after a short period of time, dealing AoE pyro. Starts with 2. Yeah. And Sparks and Splash, for the duration of the ability, continuously summons Sparks and Splash to attack nearby opponents, dealing AoE pyro damage. She basically does tons and tons of pyro damage in her test run. We have pretty good crit rate, crit damage, um, decent amount of energy recharge. Obviously, they loaded up her pyro damage bonus. That's kind of what I would expect. Um, so her weapon, they have the Lost Prayer to Sacred Winds equipped to her. This boosts her crit rate. Lost Prayer to Sacred Winds is really a good catalyst for a DPS who's going to be on the field the majority of the time. I have it on Yanfei. Yanfei is a very similar character to Klee. I'm probably going to try to play Klee exactly the way I play Yanfei, which is probably going to get me in trouble because there's significant differences. 4-piece Crimson Witch of Flames, same thing applies. I would, whether you're building Yanfei or whether you're building Klee, that's definitively the set to go for. 4-piece set, and just do it. So we have Layla, Sing Show, and Bennett in our team. I know they don't have the constellations. I just want to. What they put on Bennett? 4-piece noblesse. That's correct. That's wrong. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Blizzard Strayer and Layla. But we're mostly gonna be built. We're mostly gonna be. We're just gonna be good. Showing off Klee right now. Like I said, she does well when she's on the field. So you can see the mines right there.
What did you use that for?
Oops.
I'm going in. Rain outlines your fate.
Oh, we're just.
The night is cold.
No, I'm not messing. I feel like I would require a lot more practice with Layla. You could probably practice Layla with using this test run.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
I'm just gonna put the Fantastic Voyage down just to give me some extra HP. Yeah. Her bombs do not go as far as Yanfei's. I do not have a.
Let me read you a verse. Everybody stand back.
I was just thinking I don't really have a archer in this team. Not that I'm gonna need one. All right. So yeah, Klee is a pretty easy character to get used to. If you, I mean, you will have to take some time to get used to her. Same thing was true for Yanfei as well. So, but if you do that, then and you're pretty much going to be keeping her on the field the majority of the time. Now she also requires the Pyre Registline, which well, she requires the Pyre Registline, which isn't the one that's in it's the one that's in Leeway. It's available pretty much from the game. Drops the gems that it needs, so you shouldn't have any problems there. Um, Everything, with the exception of the Ascension boss, comes from Mondstadt. I guess the Crimson Witch of Flames, I guess, is technically on the border into Leeway, but you can also strong box that. Ring of Boreas is from the Wolf. That uh, the weekly boss that you can get in Mondstadt. I know some of us are we do the Valen and we forget about the Wolf because the Wolf is harder, but you get used to the pattern and it's not gonna be. Um, Recommended weapons. Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds is best weapon for her. But anything that gives her crit rate or crit damage will do just fine if you do not get Lost Prayer to the Sacred. So, overall, I feel like between her and Yanfei, you'll probably get one and learn how to use that one, and then struggle to use the other one anytime you have to. They are different, but they are very similar. So that kind of goes into um, the next part, the last part of this video, which is I'm going to talk about the banners and what I would recommend as far as do I recommend going for the banners or not, and what am I going to do? And first of all, just know that my disclaimer for banner advice is if you like that particular character, then just get it. Don't even bother with what I recommend or what anyone else on YouTube or anyone else anywhere recommends. If Eula is someone you absolutely need on your team, then pull for her. Klee is someone you absolutely need on your team, pull for her. Don't, and it's as easy as that. Now, Eula is probably a really good physical DPS. There are other good physical DPSs out there, and uh, as this game has kind of gone along, we've seen physical DPS not being used as much, particularly as we've gone through chapter 3. Now, would I be surprised if things change? I wouldn't be surprised at all. Um, so I think it's good to have at least some go-to physical DPS, just in case game changes and you need. So if you already have one, then you need Eula less. The good thing about getting Eula now is that you have a good chance of getting Mika along with her. And I think that Mika and Eula is a good combination. Not sure if Mika goes well with anybody else, so I wouldn't pull for Mika specifically. Um, Klee is a good physical DPS. I would say that if you if you look at how people tend to recommend lineups in the Spiral Abyss, then you would find that Klee requires too much time on the field. Um, so she would kind of mess up a lot of rotations just because of how much time she requires to be on the field. So you can still use Klee in the Spiral Abyss. It's just that She's not gonna fit a lot of the she doesn't fit a lot of the lineups recommended I see. It's free, but she will definitely get you through most everything else in this. As would Yanfei if you already have. So if you want her, well, she will definitely be valuable to your team if you get her. As far as the 4 stars, um, if you want them, then great. I think I would rather you make the decision by whether you want one of the 5 stars. If you don't want either 5 star, then I wouldn't push for any of the 4 star characters. As for the weapons, um, my standing recommendation for pulling on the weapons banner is only do it if you can find a home for either one of the featured 5 star weapons and you have 160 wins. Um, Song of Broken Pines is obviously going to fit Eula very well, but it will fit most physical DPS characters, well, assuming that they are clean. So, um, the Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds is a little bit more difficult. Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds is best paired with a Catalyst user that is on the field a lot so that you can get the best use of its passive. Um, Obviously, it works well with Klee. Obviously, it works well with Yanfei. It, but otherwise, even though it has a really good crit rate boost, it doesn't have universal application past just the crit rate. So overall, this is actually not a bad weapon banner if you want to try for something because you should have at least one physical DPS, and there's a lot of good Claymore users that become physical DPS uh, characters for you. And even if you don't have either Klee or Yanfei, Lost Prayer to Sacred Winds can find a home. You might just have to be. So if you have 160 wishes to spend on the weapon event banner, this is not a bad time to give that a try if you want. As for me, I went really hard on the previous banner, so I don't have anywhere near 160 wishes. So the weapon event banner is automatically out. Um, the only one that I was really on the fence for was maybe trying to pull for you. Again, I don't have a lot of wishes right now. I have 2 wishes in hand right now, and I can get some more. Not a whole lot. 7. So a total of 9. Uh, that's not a lot, obviously. And my pity is in the 40s right now. So it's possible. But for me, the problem is that I don't need 4 star character. I think that I have Thoma at C5. I don't really know what I have Mika at. I believe it's either C3 or C4. I'm pretty sure Razor's at C4. So I would probably not get a lot of value from 4 stars. If I kind of knew that Mika was going to be on this banner because it just made sense to have him on the same banner as Eula. By virtue of that, I kind of suspected it was unlikely I would see Rosaria, which is the 4 star character that's most likely to consider taking a stab at a 5 star character that I'm not sure I need. Um, so since she's not on the banner and Kale is not on the banner either, I don't really see much for me. So I'm going to pass on phase 1. And spoiler for phase 2, I'm probably going to pass on phase 2 as well because I know what the 5 stars are on that one. I don't need either of them. So anyway, that was so. Hopefully, this gave you some information that you need to uh, get through phase one without wasting any wishes. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Consider subscribing to this channel and or following me on Twitch. I stream on Twitch Genshin Impact twice a week. Um, Leave a comment below. Let me know what I got right, anything I get, and all the things I got wrong. Um, Stuff like that. And I will see you in the next video.